Morning, everyone. We're just looking at the attendee list going up, so we'll give it a couple of minutes and then we'll get started. Tempted to fill the time with some chocolate-related chat, but I'll try and avoid that where possible. In fact, I've just realised I've missed a prime opportunity to sneak in some Easter and egg and chocolate puns into this, but there we go. Have to wait until Christmas one now.
That was the perfect opportunity. You've missed it now.
Shame. No time. Fire up Copilot quickly. Okay, I reckon we'll get started. So, hello everyone, and welcome back after the bank holiday weekend, and welcome to Softcat's Microsoft Quarterly Tech Review. I'm Rich Lammercraft, the Microsoft Product and Services Lead here at Softcat, and joining me today is Charlotte King, our Microsoft Commercial Lead. I did sneak something in about chocolate. So I don't know about you, but I'm full of chocolate and ready to go. As always, we want this session to be as interactive as possible. If you have any questions as we run through, please use the Q&A tool and we'll come back to you as soon as we can. Again, as always, anything we aren't able to cover, we'll include in the follow-up email that will circulate after the session. It's a busy time of year for the Softcat Microsoft leadership teams. We're entering the planning season for the next financial year. It's always a highlight because it gives us a chance to reflect on what we've done over the last 12 months that's worked and what hasn't gone exactly as we've expected. Gives us a chance to look at technology focus areas and planning the resources we need to make sure that we can support you, our customers, in the best way possible. Looking forward to sharing this with you in an upcoming QTR. But for me, the biggest bit of Softcat news over the last 3 months is the acquisition of Oakland. They're a specialist data and AI consultancy based in Leeds. There's a lot of information about this on the news page of our website, so I won't go into depth now, but it's great news from a Microsoft perspective. Oakland's capabilities in data and AI perfectly complement our existing services portfolio and will give you, our customers, starting on an AI journey, the best possible experience. Also, earlier this month, we ran another Copilot Promptathon in London. These are events where we invite customers to turn up with a laptop, a Copilot license, and a series of challenges related to their business. And with the help from our experts, we build prompts and, more recently, agents to overcome these problems. The focus of this event quickly shifted from prompts to agents, with attendees building various things like HR policy bots and Q&A search tools. Based on the interest on agents from the Promptathon, later in this call, we'll have a demo from Jade on how to build your own Copilot agent. For anyone interested in future events, we'll be running another Promptathon in Manchester in the next couple of months. More details on that to follow in our monthly newsletter. So CK, speaking of events, I'm sure you'll give us some details of something exciting you've been working on. But in the meantime, how's your quarter been?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Rich. And if we could move on to the next slide, that would be brilliant. Get our faces off of the screen. So as you mentioned, it's a really busy time of year for Softcat, especially on the Microsoft team, as we share a very similar end of financial year, with Microsoft's being in June and Softcat's being in July. So personally, I've been working on our joint event with Microsoft, which will also be in their year end of June. And what a perfect opportunity to talk about it here. So on Wednesday, the 4th of June, we'll be hosting an event with Graham Charlton, the Softcat CEO, and Darren Hardman, the new Microsoft UK CEO. And it's such an opportunity to hear from our two leaders on the importance of our partnership and Microsoft's future roadmap. And we'll also have tech area breakouts across AI, security, and data. I'm personally so excited. The plans are looking fantastic, and I think it will be a great day. So do keep an eye out for the registration link that will be coming out this week. And if you do have any questions or want to hear more about the event, reach out to your Softcat account manager who can share this with you. But if we move on to the reason that we've all logged in this morning, right after a bank holiday, our QTR. So we've got a packed agenda, as you'll see. We'll move on, but very quickly, just a reminder, as Rich said at the beginning, please send your questions into the Q&A function throughout, and the team are on hand in the background to answer these. So let's get started.
Thanks, EK. Hi, everyone. I'm Osman Ahmed, Microsoft Corporate Deputy Team Leader at Softcat.
And hi, everyone. I'm Joe Cahill, and I'm a Public Sector Microsoft Licensing Specialist.
Thanks, Joe. So let's start with the Microsoft commercial updates. So previously, in order to purchase E5 security, you had to have either Microsoft 365 E3 or Office 365 E3 and EM&S E3 as a prerequisite for this add-on. However, Microsoft have now expanded this to Business Premium. So you can now purchase E5 security as an add-on to your Business Premium licenses. But please note that Microsoft Defender for Business does not support mixed licensing. So a tenant with Defender for Business, which is included in M365 Business Premium, along with Defender for Endpoint Plan 2, which is included in E5 security, will default to Defender for Business. So in order to enable Defender for Endpoint Plan 2, you will need to unassign Defender for Business from the users affected. And moving on to Copilot and the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, Microsoft have now brought Copilot into the Microsoft 365 Admin Center, allowing IT administrators to use generative AI to increase productivity. So rather than searching through multiple pages to find what you need, you can just ask Copilot and it'll bring it up for you. So some tasks Copilot can assist with in the Admin Center are recapping and summarizing key admin updates and actions, managing users and licenses, providing you with visual insights into your data, and also it can help you author PowerShell scripts. So to get Copilot in the Admin Center, you will require one Microsoft 365 Copilot license. And currently Copilot is only available for the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. However, Microsoft do intend to start bringing this into other admin centers in future. I'll now hand over to Joe.
Thank you, Osman. So the tenant external recipient rate limit is a new limit on the number of external recipients a tenant can send emails to in a 24-hour window. And this is calculated based on the number of email license a tenant holds and ensures fair usage across all tenants. So the rollout schedule started on the 3rd of April for tenants with 25 or fewer licenses. Then on the 10th of April, included tenants with up to 200 licenses. On the 17th of April, tenants with up to 500 licenses. And on the 1st of May, all remaining tenants will be included in this. So most customers will not be directly impacted by these changes. Limits are scaled appropriately with the size of tenants. And you can see sample limits for the tenants on the table on the slide on the right. Trial tenants are limited to 5,000 total external recipients per day, regardless of your license count. So you can go and check your tenant limits and usage in the Exchange Admin Center under Reports, Mail Flow, and then Tenant Outbound External Recipient Rate. If you do exceed your limit, senders will receive a bounce back email notifying you that the email hasn't been delivered. So if you find yourself impacted, Microsoft recommend using Azure Communication Services for bulk email. I'll pass back over to Osman.
Thanks, Joe. Now moving on to the Microsoft promotional offers. The Do More with Microsoft 365 E3 promo is available till the 30th of June 2025. And this is a 15% promo, so you are entitled to a 15% off Microsoft 365 E3 on an annual commit. And this offer is only available to customers that do not have and have never purchased Microsoft 365 E3 previously. And the Microsoft 365 E5 CSP Accelerate 1-year offer is available till the 30th of June 2025. This is also a 15% promo, so you're entitled to 15% off M365 E5 on an annual commit, and this promo is also only available to customers new to Microsoft 365 E5. There has been an update to the Microsoft 365 Copilot offer, as this promo was due to come to an end on the 31st of March this year. However, Microsoft have now extended this to the 30th of June 2025. And this offers a 15% discount on Microsoft 365 Copilot and is available to any customers that purchase a minimum of 10 licenses, and it's capped at 300 licenses. And finally, let's take a look at the Microsoft E5 compliance promo offer for Microsoft 365 Copilot. This offer is available until the 1st of February 2026, and it gives you 50% off Microsoft E5 compliance for every seat of M365 Copilot purchase. And this promo can be applied retroactively to customers who have already purchased M365 Copilot but don't yet have E5 compliance. Thank you. I'll now hand you over to Brad to run through the Microsoft Azure updates.
Perfect. Thanks, Usman. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well and you've had a good long weekend. I'm Brad, part of the Microsoft Products and Services team, and I'm here to bring you a few Azure updates this morning. There isn't anything major to bring you in terms of Azure, but we do have a few operational points to raise and to mention some Softcat services and Microsoft announcements, which we'll jump right into in a second. Having said that, Microsoft Build is next month, so hopefully there will be a whole heap of updates we can bring you in the next QTR. So the first thing to mention was something that was mentioned on our last QTR, but it's always worth bringing up again, and that's our Azure Migration Accelerator. So what this is it's Softcat's full end-to-end migration service for slightly smaller opportunities. Historically in Softcat, we've undertaken a more traditional migration pathway that requires assessments and build phases. But this service uses both Softcat and Microsoft's capabilities to mitigate that process and reduce the overall time needed to migrate into the cloud. I should mention, this is not restrictive to a whole environment. It can be used for particular apps or networks within an environment. There are certain qualifying factors that servers need to meet to qualify for the service. But if there is a business interest to explore the cloud at a slightly smaller scale than an all-out lift and shift, then please do reach out to your account management, who will then leverage the relevant Softcat internal teams to work with you on the process. Moving on to the operational updates, a few to mention here. The first one being the retirement of Azure RBAC Classic roles. So these roles were originally announced to be retired in August 2024, and the final deadline to migrate users is coming up on the 30th of April 2025. The roles in scope to be removed are Service Administrator, Co-Administrator, and Account Administrator. These roles have been around in Azure for some time, and in the current landscape of Azure, they lack the granularity, visibility, and control that today's Azure security compliance standards demand. So as of the 30th of April 2025, these roles will lose access into Azure subs. And if you have not assigned the relevant owner permissions, you will lose access to manage the subscriptions. There is a link that you can see on the slide here that can be shared with you, which contains a guide on how to reassign these roles. If you do have any further questions, however, please do reach out to your account manager and they will contact someone within Softcat who will help you walk you through that process. The second is the blocking of unused subs. So this is to block unused subscriptions by Microsoft. Subscriptions that lay dormant in Azure that pose a potential security risk to any Azure account. Therefore, to reduce this risk, Microsoft taken these measures to secure and protect, and in the long term, delete unused Azure subs. As you can see from the slide, Microsoft deems an Azure sub unused when there is not activity in it for more than 1 year. The subscription will then enter an unused state, and you will have received a notification advising you of that fact. And after a further 30 days of no activity, your unused sub will be deleted after a further 90 days. If you are not wanting Azure subs to be deleted, then you can simply log back into the Azure sub with the notification window, and the sub will return to its production state. Finally, the Broadcom updates. So you may have seen this already, but as of the 10th of April 2025, Broadcom have announced that the fewest cores a customer can buy through their VMware solution will rise from 16 to 72. Alongside this, there will be a late renewal fee that will cost 20% of the first year subscriptions. Now, if there are any questions or concern about the upcoming Broadcom renewal, there are a couple of Azure options to consider, the main one of which is the Azure VMware solution. If this is something that you are considering or interested in exploring further, then please do get in touch with your account team at Softcat, who will reach to the cloud sales, who will be able to advise of next steps. Finally, some end of support announcements. So there have been a list of announcements for Microsoft products moving towards retirement/end of support in 2025, and we've highlighted a few here, few that link into Azure. But the link at the bottom of the slide that you see will take you to a full and comprehensive list of products that are going end of support in 2025. The top of the list here is Windows 10, which is going to be retired on the 14th of October 2025, at which point technical assistance and software updates will no longer be provided. It's recommended that you look into one of the following options before the 14th of October so you're in the best shape when the date comes around. One of which is the ESU program. So this is a paid program that offers extended security updates for Windows 10. And this will help extend the use of Windows 10 devices past the end of support date in a more secure manner. This will run up to a maximum of 3 years. Please do reach out to your account management for more details on this. Other options include looking to upgrade the OS to one that is still in support, i.e. Windows 11, or for customers who have many individuals across the UK and abroad working on Windows 10 devices, you can potentially look into upgrade into a solution like Azure Virtual Desktop for the scalability and flexibility of the cloud, whilst you also have the latest OS in your arsenal. Other products that are going end of life or into extended support, to name a couple, are SQL Server 2019 and Azure DevOps Server 2020. As mentioned before, there's a list of services via the link on the slide, and if you do have a question about any of those services within that link, please do reach out to your account management team, who will put you in touch with my team and we'll be able to discuss the next steps. So that's it for the Azure related updates. We'll move on now to some services updates from John Folks.
Thank you, Brad. And good morning, everybody. Moving now to an update on Softcat services. I'm John Fowkes, Strategic Client Lead in the Microsoft team, the commercial side of our Microsoft team. I'm here to tell you about the recent launch of our cloud management platform. So here's the dashboard on the screen. First thing to say is these aren't new services. The platform brings together existing services around support, monitoring, FinOps and cloud optimization, but into a single platform for ease of visibility and management, with additional capability for managing your ongoing end user compute, SaaS spend, and identifying savings. Now, clearly, of course, a lot of this is Microsoft centric, so M365 and Azure, but it doesn't stop there. We extend to AWS, GCP, Google Workspace, Slack, and others if you are using them. Now, I'll just take you through what you see here on the screen, the widgets on the dashboard, from left to right, starting at the top left with Softcat support. This is our support service and ticketing for your public cloud, so Azure, AWS, or GCP. Here you can view existing tickets and log new ones, check ticket status and progress, and click through to ServiceNow, which is what we use at the back end. Next along is security and compliance. This gives you headlines, which you can then drill into, for example, at a resource level, if security is out of date and needs action, any security alerts and trends over time. It also gives you a variety of health and compliance status reports, particularly within Azure. Moving across insights, that's a rolling news feed with updates and topical information. This shows the same for all our customers. Then along the bottom segment, we've got spend analysis there at the left. That allows you to surface potential opportunities to make savings across your different clouds. We've then got sustainability. That shows emissions saved and trends over time, etc. And then SaaS spend. So SaaS spend, that shows your ongoing M365 utilization and optimization recommendations. Other SaaS vendors too, if you wish to include them, you can, not just Microsoft. This is using Slurry at the back end and is our newest component that you see here in our platform. Then at the end, that shows service spend. So that's a general spend analysis across the Softcat services that you take as customer. This and all these widgets you can click through for more detailed information. Also worth noting, we do offer innovation points. So this is our customer loyalty scheme where you accrue points against your spend with us to then spend on additional advisory, architecture or implementation services. Okay, now going into those dashboards and spend dashboards in a bit more detail. Behind these dashboards, we are using Cloud Health, which is a comprehensive cloud management platform ideal for complex multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environments. Fundamentally, it's all about cloud governance and automation, enabling you to implement policies for cost allocation, chargeback, set various levels of accountability amongst departments and teams. In terms of cost management, it will detect anomalies, identify commitment recommendations, candidates for reserved instances, and resource right sizing, giving you spending patterns and overall resource utilization. And importantly, point 2 and point 3 here on the slide, importantly, there's the Softcat human touch as well. So we do include regular touch points to review the data and recommendations coming from the platform and advise and implement accordingly, depending on how deep you choose to go with the platform. M365 optimization assessment. So as part of your M365 onboarding, and it is specific to M365 now, onboarding to the cloud management platform, we typically recommend taking our traditional M365 optimization assessment. This is delivered by our ITAM asset intelligence team and provides a detailed view of your current utilization from a 30, 60, 90-day perspective, identifying inactive and deleted accounts, overlapping licenses, signed for the same user, or unused licenses. And with this assessment, you're provided a detailed report, exec summary and recommendations. And from there, you then have an ongoing visibility of utilization and potential savings via the platform. Okay, so just to recap, and this is the last slide from me, just shows here what I've talked about from a layered perspective. So from the top down, we can just do your billing and associated commercials. So this includes 24/7 service desk and billing and tech support, but not the wider cloud management platform that I've described. That comes in at Cloud Fundamentals and Managed Cloud. So both these, Cloud Fundamentals and Managed Cloud, both include 2 hours of solutions architect time to use each month included. And we also conduct a FinOps monthly service review. This is delivered by the aligned service manager and FinOps analysts. Manage then goes a step further from Cloud Fundamentals to Managed Cloud. That then goes a step further by including incident, problem, and change management within your environment. If any of this has piqued your interest, or perhaps you're using some of this already and want to consider stepping up, please contact your Softcat account manager and we'll be happy to set up a session to go into more detail. That's it from me, and over to Annette, please.
Hello everyone, my name's Annette. I'm part of the Microsoft Customer Success team here at Softcat. So I'll be going through some programs and funding that may be available to you. So starting off with the NHS Fast Track program, this is a program that's currently running through to June 2026 for customers with 150 plus M365 licenses on the NHS Central Tenant. So Softcat are actually one of only few partners in the UK able to deliver on the Fast Track benefit to organisations on this Central NHS Tenant. The program is designed to support NHS organisations with deployment and adoption of M365, with being able to choose up to 3 workloads from the approved list of M365 apps, Defender for Endpoint, Intune, Windows 11 or Teams. So the way the program is delivered is through workshops with one of our fast track engineers who will provide that best practice guidance and expertise knowledge to equip you with successful deployment of your selected workloads. This will be through covering overviews, demos, configuration practices and policy setups. Moving on to the CSP deployment voucher. So Microsoft have announced a new funding pilot for CSP deployment vouchers. It's a modern work and security deployment offer for customers who are purchasing a minimum of 500 new M365 E3 or E5 licenses. So this is specifically to be used to support your deployment and adoption of new M365 workloads, working with one of our consultants to build a personalized scope of work to achieve your desired goals. So the voucher value would be 8% of the uplift with a maximum of $50,000. Deals must be closed between April through to June 2025, and it's subject to eligibility and down to Microsoft's approval. Lastly, the secure productivity proof of value engagement. So this is a funded engagement available for customers who are currently on 500 plus Office 365 licenses looking for an M365 E3 proof of concept. So through this engagement, you will be doing an M365 E3 trial by receiving the E3 trial licenses with one of our consultants to set things up for you and show you the benefit of M365. As part of this, the consultant would focus around Intune and conditional access policies. In particular, they will be onboarding a pilot of users and Windows devices. After this session, you will hopefully have a better idea of how M365 can support your business and the benefits of Intune for your device management. Following on from this, we will also work with your licensing specialist to see if M365 is in the roadmap for you and how we can support you beyond purchase. So if you are interested in any of the engagements that I've mentioned today, please speak with your Softcat account manager to look into your options and see how we can set things up for you. I will now pass over to Jade.
Thanks so much. Hi everyone, my name is Jade and I sit on the Microsoft Workplace Products and Services team. I'm here to present on the 6 new Copilot security agents that Microsoft announced in March. These agents are designed to provide more robust security using AI. So, firstly, the phishing agent. This agent autonomously handles routine phishing alerts on cyber attacks, freeing up your IT team to focus on more complex cyber threats. The agent helps to ensure that phishing attempts are swiftly identified and dealt with. Moving on to the identity protection agent. This agent manages user identities and access controls. Again, this agent is designed to give time back to the IT team, so it can automatically detect and respond to suspicious activity. Finally, on this slide, the data protection agent. This agent can automatically encrypt data to protect it from unauthorized access, and this can be crucial for data loss prevention. The incident report agent is designed to quickly and effectively respond to security incidents quicker than ever before. If there was a breach, the incident report agent can contain and minimize the impact without the need for human intervention. The threat intelligence agent, this agent continuously monitors and protects for potential threats and can provide alerts to the IT team if there is unusual activity, allowing them to address the problem quicker. And finally, we have the compliance monitoring agent. This agent ensures your organization meets all relevant compliance standards. It prepares detailed reports for audits and simplifies the compliance process and enforces security policies across your network to maintain compliance. Microsoft says 57% of organizations report an increase in security incidents from AI usage. So these 6 Copilot security agents Microsoft released in March offer advanced AI-driven solutions to enhance your organization's security. Now, of course, these agents are all pre-built, but as you guys will know, you can also build your own agents. So we're now going to move on to a short demo that we filmed, which creates a simple HR agent. And we're going to show you how we can publish this agent to M365 Copilot Chat and Microsoft Teams. So moving on to that demo. Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to set up, configure and publish an agent to Microsoft Teams. Agents are designed to speed up processes, and so hopefully this video can spark ideas on how you can streamline your internal processes. As you can see, there are loads of templates to pick from, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to start one from scratch. When you click Create an Agent, it takes you to a page where Copilot can help you plan your agent's goals and purpose. I'm just going to speak to Copilot as I would a person and describe what I want my agent to do. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to be creating an HR agent. This agent is designed to help answer frequently asked questions, to reduce traffic in the HR mailbox. Now it's time to name our agent. Copilot has given us a suggestion, but as this is designed to be an internal tool, I'm going to name it Softcat HR Helper. Now let's refine the instructions for the Softcat HR Helper a little bit more. Copilot has asked for a bit more information around the tone of our agent. Great. Now that that's set up, if we skip to configure, you can see that Copilot has helped populate these boxes by filling out the description of the agent and its instructions. Let's move on to create. We now need to add a knowledge source. I'm simply going to drag the knowledge source that I want into this box. For the purposes of this demo, I'm going to be using an HR policy. When you upload a knowledge source, the general knowledge toggle is automatically turned on. This means the agent will use knowledge outside of the source that you provided. And as this agent is designed to answer specific internal queries around Softcat's HR policy, we're going to want to turn this one off. This basically stops it from using the web to answer questions. You can also see another toggle up here. This toggle switches on generative AI. Switching this on means your agent can choose the best actions, knowledge, and topics to answer user queries. So we're going to want to turn this feature on. Great, let's check in on our knowledge. As you can see, it's still in progress. So while we wait, let's change the icon to make it more personal. Now that our knowledge source is ready, I think it's time to test out our agent. Let's ask it a question that it will know the answer to. When you ask the agent a question during the testing phase, you'll get to see the activity map. The activity map basically shows you where the agent is sourcing the information from, so our HR policy. It seemed to do well in answering that question. Let's ask it a question that maybe it wouldn't know the answer to. As you can see, this information was not on our HR policy, which means Copilot is not able to answer the question. Now, this is completely fine. Copilot agents are not going to be able to answer every single question your user throws at it, but that is why it's important to have an escalation route configured. Let's go ahead and configure an escalation route. If we go into Topics and then System, we see there is an Escalate template. As you can see, the Escalate template has given us a simple trigger and a message. I'm going to add a few more options to the trigger. This basically means if anyone puts these words into the bot, that is going to trigger this escalation route. Now, of course, we could just stop here. We could just edit this message save it, and test it out. However, I want to add a few more steps to our escalation route. I'm going to add in a question by adding a node. As we want this HR agent to reduce traffic in the HR mailbox, I want to make sure users are actually asking their questions to this bot. Hopefully, adding a question gives users a little nudge to make sure they're using the HR helper first. I'm going to give them two options. I'm now going to add a condition. I'm now going to add a message for all users that click the yes button. I'm also going to add a message for all other conditions. So in this case, that would be anyone who clicked no. Great. Now that's all configured. I'm going to click save. Now let's test it out again. As you can see, our question has come up, and in this case, I did not ask my question first, so I'm going to say no. The bot has now reminded me to ask my question to this agent, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Amazing. Now it's been able to answer my question. There is also the option to configure things like actions. Setting up actions allows your agent to complete specific tasks for you and can use various pre-built connectors. For example, if I wanted my HR bot to also tell the weather, I can link it to MSN Weather, which means whenever the agent is asked what the temperature is, the action of going to MSN Weather, retrieving the current temperature will happen. However, for the purposes of this demo, I don't necessarily want my HR agent to help tell the weather, so I'm happy with my agent. I'm going to go ahead and publish my agent to Teams. I'm also going to make the agent available in M365 Copilot Chat. Now, if I want to see my agent in Teams, I simply have to click this button. After I click that button, a pop-up appeared in my Teams, and I simply have to click Add. Now let's open this agent with Copilot. Let's say I've got a question about some of our HR policies. Maybe I'm going on maternity leave and I want to know what my maternity cover looks like. I can simply add my Softcat helper and ask my question. Let's ask a follow-up question. I'm able to ask this bot questions I've got about the HR policy. I've just asked a question around after having a child if my work from home policy changes at all. The HR policy does not specify any changes, but this could be an example of when you'd want to speak to a human. Here are my two options, and in this case, yes, I have asked my question already. Now it's redirecting me to reach out to the HR bot. That has saved the HR bot 2 questions about maternity cover and paternity cover, and now users are only going about questions that the bot wasn't able to answer. Hopefully this shows you how a simple agent can reduce traffic in a busy mailbox, and hopefully the demo was helpful to spark some interest in ideas on how you guys could be using Copilot agents. As you can see, there are tons of channels you can post agents to, whether they be Microsoft channels or third parties. If any of you would like to hear more about agents and dive a bit deeper into its functionality, please reach out to your Softcat account manager. Thanks everyone for listening.
That was great. Thank you so much, Jade. Really enjoyed that demo, and hopefully everyone else found it useful as well. That brings us to the end of this quarter's QTR event. Thank you to everyone for joining and to all the speakers for today's QTR. We hope that you found it useful. As a reminder, our next event will be taking place in person on Wednesday, the 4th of June. Please reach out to your account manager for further details on how to secure your spot. The QTR will be back in July, and your feedback from these events is so important to continue to tailor these events to what our customers want to hear from us. So please do take a few moments to scan the QR code on screen now and let us know what you would like to hear from us in future events. And I hope you have a lovely short week. Thanks for listening.